Hello, thanks for watching. If this is the first time you've seen this, this is not what we normally do. We're not a prepper channel. We're not a survivalist channel. This is a series for being prepared for emergency situations. And it's not one for those that are really into prepping or into surviving, making sure that you go on and survive whatever it may be. This is more for those that don't think about prepping or think that prepping is just for rednecks or for militia or for manly men. We're going to try to change that attitude. This is important. This is for those that have the attitude of nothing will ever happen. And for a long time, nothing has happened to a lot of people. A lot of us have been blessed to have nothing happen. Currently, we are in a place of time, that we're looking at war, we're looking at food shortages, we're looking at diseases, we're looking at the supply chain breaking down, we're looking at the government saying there are going to be blackouts, not rolling brownouts, not you're going to be out of power for an hour or two, blackouts, 12 hours, 72 hours, 3 days without power makes a big difference. These are just some of the things. Terrorism, civil war, mass shootings. We have so many of those, too many of those. And it's getting to a point where thoughts and prayers aren't enough, but that's for a different episode. Economic collapse, an act of God, earthquake, a flood, a hurricane, a storm. Any of these things are possible. And while you may think nothing will ever happen to you, a lot of people think that. And I hope you're right. And I pray you're right. And I pray nothing happens to any of you watching this. I honestly do. I truly do. I want you to just go, we're going to do 4 parts. This part is the mental part. We're going to do mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. This is the mental part. This is just getting you to go from nothing will ever happen to, well, something could happen. I just listed 10 things that could impact your lives and could impact them on an extended period. Again, we hope nothing ever does happen, but think about this for just a second. Aren't you going to be better off having thought through a potential situation than finding yourself in a situation that is overwhelming otherwise? If X happens, what would I do? That's all this brief episode is about. And all these episodes are going to be brief because it's just getting you to think common sense things, including if X happens, what do I do? If I'm in a mass shooting, what do I do? If you think about it ahead of time, your reaction may be quicker. You may save yourself. You may help someone else. It's just better to think about it ahead of time, in my opinion, and I hope that you're seeing that possibly it is in yours. Are you in an area that might get flooded, that you might get cut off, where you can't get out for a while? Are you in an area subject to earthquakes? Everybody's situation is going to be different. But the one thing we all can share is just getting mentally predispositioned that something could happen. And what should my reaction be? What should my reaction be if there's a blackout? If there's a blackout and there's no power for 72 hours, what do I do? If you think about it, you're going to be more comfortable in that very uncomfortable situation. These episodes are about getting you prepared so you don't panic, because you will panic if you're not prepared. And everybody's going to panic a little bit when something goes down. The most hardened will panic a little bit when something goes down. But those that have mentally prepared a little bit, even just a little bit, will perform better and in a more positive manner, and in one that you would want to perform in. So what do you do if you're in a mass shooting? Do you duck? Do you run? Do you try to overthrow the shooter? It depends who you are, what your experiences are. There's what the situation is. But there are options. And if you suddenly find yourself in that situation, you may not have any other option in your head other than run, and that may get you killed or injured. Mass shootings in America, especially, are way too commonplace. It sounds like the longer we get into summer, the more blackouts are going to be more commonplace. It sounds like the longer we go, the more the supply chain is not performing as it should, the more vulnerable we become. The fact that war and rumors of war abound can't make us comfortable. Now, there will be those that are just like, I don't want to hear any of this, and that's fine. It's not fine, because things are going to happen, in my opinion. But if you want to choose to think nothing will ever happen, I hope you're right. I honestly do. For those that realize something could happen and what do we do in those situations, keep watching the series. Next episode, we're going to be talking about the physical things involved. As far as what do I mean by that? Well, we're going to be talking about what to have, just the basics that the federal government, this list comes from, it comes from the United States government disaster and emergency preparedness, official website of the United States government. Talks about building a kit. It talks about basic disaster supply kit, which is what we're going to talk about on the next episode. And I hope you'll watch, and I hope you find this this series. It's just going to be this isn't a prepper channel. This isn't a survivalist channel. This is a channel where we do news differently. We have news done differently. We do something called connecting the dots. And we have something called the American Doofus Show. This is the American Doofus channel. And this 4-part, we also have some church episodes. We have some spiritual episodes. And this particular 4-part series is just going to be about preparing for the unexpected. And I hope you'll watch. And I thank you for watching this. Again, please share if you found this worthy, and especially share with people that don't want to take a whole bunch of time learning about these things, but yet need to know, at least need to have something to think about. And hit that bell to notify you when we're back on with the next episode. And subscribe and leave a comment. And we will see you next time. Again, thank you for watching. This has been part 1. Part 2 will be about the physical aspect of what we may be facing. And until that time, thank you again for watching.